I've been hopping into Blue Protocol Star Resonance each day during this closed beta, playing as the attack position class the Wind Knight, a fast-paced, agile and acrobatic spear-using close-range combatant, dealing very high damage small area attacks, capable of taking on multiple opponents at once. As much fun as my time with the base Wind Knight class has been, once I filled out the initial talent tree and I was able to pick my specialization, switching it over to the Skyward Spec has made it even more fun, transforming you into the embodiment of a Dragoon, which is kinda sick. The spec changes your special skill over from Gale Thrust to a new special attack called Skyfall, also throwing you into a whole new suite of skills, most of which you will have only just unlocked. Given that you'll be using an entirely new skill loop, one that focuses primarily on your sharpness, more so / alongside courage, I thought it would be super beneficial just to break it all down, show you how I wrapped my head around it, with a build specifically catered to the Skyward Spec, going through the core skill combo loops with you, so that you can start having as much fun as I am with this absolutely badass class and maximize your OP-ness. First, we'll go over all of the skills that you're going to have slotted in. Windborn Grace remains your regular basic attack ability, this does not change, and up to 4 striking combo that you can do, not costing any courage or any resources. You can always fall back on this. You'll find that you'll be using this basic attack in between your combo skills, in particular when you've run out of resources, namely courage. As mentioned, your special attack has changed over to an ability called Skyfall, which consumes 35 courage, sees your character leaping up into the air, and you are able to chain these back to back. Weirdly, it doesn't seem to state this on the skills page itself, but as per your previous special attack, this is your primary method to generate sharp, with each individual usage of Skyfall generating 1 stack of sharp. Your ultimate Typhoon Cleave also remains the same, although it does seem to get powered up with additional bonuses further down into the talent tree. Onto our expertise skills, which is where the build really starts. Our first option will be Gale Form, which when activated stuns enemies in front of you, dealing a small bit of damage, but very importantly, giving you a buff which restores 105 courage over time, and gives you a large strength bonus as well. This, alongside your natural recovery rate of courage of 3 per second, is going to be your primary source of courage generation. Contrary to the game's tip, which are generally really useful, very handy, I actually like to initiate the entire loop with this, so that I know immediately my courage is already regenerating quickly, and that I'm immediately benefiting from the large strength bonus. The skill has 2 overdrives. Anytime you see the word overdrive, it just means a usage. The next skill is Falcon Toss, which consumes 40 courage, sees you leaping up into the air, hurling down a Windforged spear with force, dealing some really chunky damage and resilience break as well, in addition to granting 1 stack of sharp. A really powerful ability dealing a ton of damage to multiple enemies at once, which is great to sub in place of Skyfall to generate that sharp when it's off cooldown. Early into the Skyward Spec talent tree, I've actually unlocked a second overdrive for this, making it even more awesome. Things start to get even juicier with our next skill, Instant Edge, which consumes 2 stacks of sharp to leap into the air and deliver a powerful aerial strike. Really solid damage, good resilience break as well. I'm not sure what the tip's referring to when it's talking about wasting regen. I haven't noticed it regenerating courage, maybe that's something on the talent tree. As implied by the name, this skill can be used instantly without any cooldown. It doesn't have any set overdrives, nor does it consume any courage. It strictly just consumes stacks of sharp. By default, it consumes 2, however very early on into the Skyward Spec talent tree, you can upgrade it so that it consumes 3. And finally, we have the absolutely devastating Sharp Impact, which is as strong as your ulti, seeing you leap into the air before crashing down, dealing massive attack damage to the target and surrounding enemies. You'll need to generate 1 overdrive in order to use it, with every 1 stack of Sharp that is consumed across all of your abilities, namely Instant Edge, giving you 5% of the overdrive, meaning by default you'll need to cast Instant Edge 10 times to get a full overdrive charge. That's the build, and you've probably started to piece together what this all looks like. Now let's jump in and go over the skill rotation so that it all comes together. I'm using the trials to showcase this here, which actually starts you off at full sharp, which isn't very useful. I'm gonna pretend like I don't have those stacks there. After maybe some basic attacks to break things in, the first expertise skill I'll be using is Gale Form. I mentioned this before, I like to initiate with this for the strength bonus and to immediately kickstart the courage regeneration. I'll then immediately go into my special attack Skyfall, bouncing 2 in a row at 35 courage apiece, dealing a good chunk of damage and generating 2 stacks of sharp. Then going straight into a falcon toss for 40 courage, dealing really solid damage and generating that 3rd stack of sharp. Immediately going into instant edge to consume all 3 stacks of sharp, really chunky damage and builds up a good chunk of sharp impact. If you're in these trials or you're just initiating combat for the first time, you'll already have an overdrive ready, letting you execute sharp impact for tremendous damage and resilience break as well, devastating the enemy it's cast on and the surrounding area too. You can also follow this up with your very powerful ulti Typhoon Cleave, which will restore 100 courage, keep that in mind, letting you go straight back into the loop with Skyfall. Of course, bearing in mind you won't be able to finish the rotation with sharp impact, the overdrive for it is going to need to be built back up with the continued usage of instant edge. That is the full combo chain, this skill rotation. It is so fun and super powerful. You will from time to time slip up and get things in the wrong order. I wouldn't worry about it. The game's really new. We're all learning. And that first transition from the base Wind Knight over to the Skyward Spec does take a hot minute. So just give yourself a little bit of patience and grace. You'll get there. Hopefully this was useful. I'm going to be doing more builds and guides like this moving forward. If you enjoyed it, do subscribe for more Blue Protocol Star Resonance. I'm going to leave some footage rolling of an Inferno Ogre or something else, just so you can get a feel for the rotation with all of my mess ups in place as well, giving you a really solid showcase of what the Skyward Spec actually looks like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.